And you, Chicky baby, what do they call you?
They call me Chicky. How did y'all guess?
Oh, fuss and feathers.
Hello to all the classic people that are returning. I'm glad you're back. I want to welcome any new visitors. As a technical note, references and citations are listed for each show on the site at classicmovierev.com. Today on the Classic Movie Reviews podcast, we are taking on How to Stuff a Wild Bikini, 1965. This film has a crushingly low 4.7 rating on imdb.com. Whew, that really burns. RottenTomatoes.com gives it an equally crushing 33% audience approval. Frankie was only in the movie for a little over 5 minutes as he was making another movie at the time. Funicello was pregnant and wore smocks and placed product endorsements in front of her midsection during filming. It is no wonder that this was the least loved of the beach films. Maybe I'm just a big Buster Keaton fan. On January 12, 1967, Howard Thompson of the New York Times wrote, quote, How to Stuff a Wild Bikini. Yep, that's the title that appeared yesterday on a circuit double bill. And anyone who ambles inside expecting the worst won't be disappointed. For here, finally and in color, is the answer to a moron's prayer. Here in spades is the essence of those rock and roll beach frolics from American International, crammed with squealing young cuties, gawking male counterparts, and the usual guest stars. This time let's pit Brian Dunleavy, Mickey Rooney, and good old now departed Buster Keaton. Again, a camera has been plucked down in the sand and William Asher directs the traffic churning around it. Annette Funicello and Dwayne Hickman head the roster of capering young folks who cheerfully yelped the worst musical score since 1925, the year before sound pictures. A tired-looking pelican wanders in and out of the picture, keeping vigil over Miss Funicello's honor. Maybe that's the real message. Never mind how to stuff a wild bikini. Get yourself a pelican, stay home with it, and watch TV. Unquote. I guess he didn't get the joke. Actors.
Right. And I'm a Shakespearean actor.
The great comic actor Harvey Limbeck played motorcycle gang leader Eric Von Zipper. Limbeck was first covered in the Western war film The Command, 1954. Film noir veteran Brian Dunleavy played advertising executive B.D. Big Deal McPherson. Dunleavy was covered in The Big Combo, 1955. Dwayne Hickman played the male lead, Ricky. This popular young star was first covered in Cat Ballou, 1965. The great silent era actor Buster Keaton played the witch doctor Bwana. He used his deadpan facial expression to great effect in this film. Keating was first covered in the must-see classic The General, 1926. Mickey Rooney had a fun role as a junior executive Peachy Keen. He even sang a little bit. Rooney was first covered in the great boxing film noir Requiem for a Heavyweight, 1962. Frankie Avalon, who was barely in this film, played Frankie. Avalon was covered briefly during the Alamo, 1960. Len Lesser played the mean pool hall manager North Dakota Pete. Of course, he is best known as Jerry Seinfeld's Uncle Abe. Lesser was briefly covered in I Want to Live, 1958. Michelle Carey had a small uncredited role as Michelle. Carey was first covered in the Western El Dorado, 1967. Annette Funicello played the lead, Dee Dee. Funicello was born in 1942 in New York State. Her family moved to California when she was very young. In 1955, she debuted on the Mickey Mouse Club, 1955 to 1958. She quickly became the most popular mouse. Think Christina Aguilera. When the show ended in 1958, Walt Disney kept her under contract for films such as The Shaggy Dog, 1959, The Misadventures of Merlin Jones, 1964, and The Monkey's Uncle, 1965. She was loaned out by Disney for the beach movies with the request that she not wear a bikini. Really, she was the only girl on the beach with a bouffant hairdo and a sweater. These movies include Beach Party, 1963, Bikini Beach, 1964, Muscle Beach Party, 1964, Pajama Party, 1964, Dr. Goodfoot and the Bikini Machine, 1965, Beach Blanket Bingo, 1965, How to Stuff a Wild Bikini, 1965, and racetrack versions of beach films Fireball 500 1966 and Thunder Alley 1967. During these beach movies, Funicello was a minor pop star as well. She and Frankie Avalon spoofed themselves pretty well in Back to the Beach 1987, including mentioning that they looked like they were from New Jersey or words to that effect. Funicello was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, MS, in 1987 and died at the age of 70 in 2013. Beverly Adams played the magic creation Cassandra. She was born in Canada in 1945. Her family moved to California when she was young. She is known for the beach movie How to Stuff a Wild Bikini 1965 and Matt Helm's spy spoofs as Lovey Kravitz in The Silencers 1966, Murderers Row 1966, and The Ambushers 1967, all starring Dean Martin. During the filming of Torture Guard in 1967, she met and married hairstylist Vidal Sassoon. She stepped out of acting for a number of years. She returned in 1980 and last worked in 1999. Jody McCrea played Bonehead in this movie and Deadhead in other beach movies. McCrea was born in 1934 in Los Angeles. This super tall and handsome actor was a child of actors Joel McCrea and Francis D. A child of two big movie stars, Jody was only mildly interested in acting. Despite this, his first film was Lucy Gallant, 1955. He continued with a few films and a little television work. He acted in other genres in films such as Lafayette Escadrille, 1958, All Hands on Deck, 1961, The Broken Lance, 1962, and Young Guns of Texas, 1962, but he is best known for Beach Party, 1963, Bikini Beach, 1964, Beach Blanket Bingo, 1965, and How to Stuff a Wild Bikini, 1965. He acted in and produced Cry Blood Apache, 1970. Following this film, he left Hollywood to become a cattle rancher in New Mexico. He died in 2009. Irene Tu played the native girl and was quite funny. Tu was born in China in 1945. Ouch, that's a tough time. The family moved to Hong Kong and then to New York City when Tu was 12. She studied at Quintano's school and studied ballet at Carnegie Hall. She won a Miss Chinatown beauty contest in San Francisco 1961. That same year, she had an uncredited role in Flower Drum Song 1961. She was also uncredited in Under the Yum Yum Tree 1963 starring Jack Lemmon. In her first credited movie role, Take Her She's Mine 1963, she played a young prostitute. In total, Tu had 83 film and television credits. Some of her more memorable roles, not previously mentioned, include Capri 1967, Island of the Lost 1967, The Green Berets 1968, Airport 1975, 1974, Paper Tiger 1975, Down and Out in Beverly Hills 1986, and Hong Kong produced Comrades Almost a Love Story 1996 and Golden Chicken 2000. She has remained active and has a film in post-production for 2020. The Kingman Band played themselves. From Portland, Oregon, this band charted with 11 singles and 5 albums. Elizabeth Montgomery had an uncredited cameo as Juana's daughter, the Witch's Witch. At the time, she was married to the director. During this time, she was known as the nose-twitching witch Samantha from television's Bewitched, 1964 to 1972. Story.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
Frankie Avalon, is away on Naval Reserve duty in the South Pacific island of Guana.
We now take you to the tropics, to the lush and lovely Guna Guna Islands. These islands were once known as the Island.
He's hanging out with a nice island girl, Irene Tu. His island girlfriend plants the idea that his stateside girlfriend, Dee Dee, Annette Funicello, might be fooling around. The island girl takes him to meet the local witch doctor, Bwana, Buster Keaton. Bwana appears in a puff of smoke. He mixes up potions in a boiling pot. Bwana only wants to be paid in torpedo juice. Booze.
Buana, this is Frankie. He has a problem.
Name problem.
Well, you see, I have this girl back in the States, and I want to know if she's true to me.
You come right place. Call a cuckoo.
Yes, Buana.
Sailor boy need help.
Yeah.
No, not that kind of help.
Frankie wants an anti-cheating potion. Juana says to do that, he will get help from his daughter, who is a very powerful witch. He goes to the back and returns with a leopard skin bikini and drops it in the pot. Juana says he will make a decoy and no one will look at Dee Dee. Juana says it will work on his witch's honor and he gives the Boy Scout sign. Back in the States, a pelican appears on the beach. The kids on the beach are dancing a go-go, and at first they don't notice the empty bikini walking down the beach. When they do, they flip their lids. The empty bikini stops by a surfboard. A girl says, "It ain't nothing without the stuffing." Bonehead, Jody McRae, says, "How do we stuff it?"
Wow, dig that Wild Bikini. Yeah.
Woo, it ain't nothing without the stuffing.
How do we stuff it?
Easy, man.
The Kingsmen and others begin singing a song that describes the perfect woman to fill the bathing suit. The bikini dances and with a puff of smoke turns into the redhead Cassandra, Beverly Adams. All of the boys rush Cassandra while the girls lament about how long the summer is going to be with such competition.
It's going to be a long, hot summer. Yeah, long for us and hot for her.
Where are you from, Cassandra?
From a long way off. And I'm here to have fun and keep you fellas happy.
Dee Dee watches with aloof detachment. Two dandies in bowler hats ride to the beach on small motorcycles. The men are advertising agent Peachy Keen, Mickey Rooney, who just happens to be looking for the perfect girl in a bikini to go with the perfect boy, Ricky, Dwayne Hickman. Dee Dee smiles in the distance. They show Cassandra to Peachy, and he passes out. When Cassandra sees Ricky, she falls in love instantly. Ricky sees Dee Dee, and he goes for the hard-to-get type. Peachy wants to send Cassandra's picture to his boss, B.D. Big Deal McPherson, Brian Dunleavy. The girls all lobby for the job by dancing and singing.
And you, Cheeky baby, what do they call you?
They call me Cheeky. How did y'all guess?
Oh, fuss and feathers.
Peachy does some dancing and singing too. The pelican watches over Dee Dee. Peachy pitches Cassandra to the board of directors. B.D. walks in and depends on the opinion of the board. Peachy does another song for the board. The song's hook is that he is the greatest on Madison Avenue. But this was before Don Draper. Ricky and Dee Dee meet for an evening date at the beach. Ricky says that the ad campaign is to change the image of motorcycle riders. The boy and girl next door will race in a cross-country race. The pelican is hanging around. The other boys gather around Cassandra and sing about her physical attributes. Peachy comes and takes Cassandra away. Ricky wants Dee Dee, although she's kind of mean to him. The next day, Ricky takes Dee Dee for some thrilling cross-country motorcycle riding on a nice street bike. Dee Dee changes her mind and wants to be in the race. Back on Guana Guana, Juana gets his torpedo juice and gives a report that Dee Dee is teetering.
You come for a daily report on Dee Dee? You bring torpedo juice?
Yeah.
Good batch today. Tell Sailor Boy Dee Dee teetering.
I wish I could tell him she tottered.
Teetered, tottered. Don't punch up the information.
He says his best witch daughter used 1 drop dove blood and it made Cassandra fall in love. It should have been gazelle blood to make her graceful. Peachy has Cassandra in his office trying to get her to sign the contract that he told his boss was already signed. She begins to show her lack of gazelle blood. Peachy stops her from signing the contract, but B.D. wants to stay with Cassandra. Dee Dee and Ricky do some product endorsement on the beach. Above the beach, Eric Von Zipper, Harvey Limbeck, and the Rats and Mice are on their motorcycles watching the beach kids have fun. Von Zipper really likes Cassandra when he sees her. Peachy asks the beach guys to teach Cassandra to be graceful. She wrecks the surfboard area. He asks the beach girls to help, but they refuse. Dee Dee says the girls should help because Peachy will take Cassandra away, and she also volunteers to help. Von Zipper takes the Rats and Mice to Peachy's office.
Of course, when that girl goes on tour as America's Ideal Youth,
yes,
I, Eric Von Zipper, am going with her.
Oh, that's wonderful.
You see, she is my idol, for I am my ideal.
Uh-huh.
And when I win the sickle cross-country race, I will then have a new
Image.
Right. I will then be America's ideal. I will be the boy next door.
Von Zipper wants to win the race and be the boy next door. They sing a song of Von Zipper's virtue to Peachy. Back at the beach, the girls are trying to teach Cassandra grace. It's not working. Peachy takes her to a shrink and tries to discover why she is so clumsy around males. No help. Ricky is putting the bum rush on Dee Dee at a nice restaurant as Peachy and Cassandra come in. The Kingsmen are playing in the restaurant. Bonehead starts dancing with Cassandra, and her clumsiness is bouncing off. The Kingsmen invite Dee Dee up for a song. The rats and mice invade the club, and Von Zipper dances with Cassandra. Since they're both klutzy, the dancing seems to work. Von Zipper wants to ride with Cassandra in the cross-country race. Von Zipper gives his catchphrase to Ricky, quote, "You I do not like," unquote. Von Zipper tries to paralyze Ricky by touching his temple with his finger, but Von Zipper paralyzes himself and has to be carried out by the gang. They take Von Zipper to a pool hall, and North Dakota Pete, Lynn Lesser, is running the joint.
I'm Slim's mean brother, North Dakota Pete.
There ain't nobody meaner than old Slim.
Nah, he didn't even like me. He was that mean.
In our family, we call Slim Baby Alice. He was the sissy of the family.
Pete says he will take care of Ricky. Ricky and Dee Dee walk on the beach until they arrive at Ricky's apartment. The Pelican is nearby squawking. Back on the island, Buana gets his torpedo juice and gives a report that Dee Dee is slipping fast.
Want a slug of torpedo juice?
Me, Cola Coco. Me, good girl.
Oh, a little slug won't mean anything.
Me, Tandaleo. Me, bad girl.
Ricky is using his cool Asian fusion apartment to full advantage until the Pelican breaks in. Dee Dee makes her escape. BD puts the crush on Peachy about the girl. He orders Peachy to change Von Zipper's image. Dee Dee and the girls sing about how perfect Frankie is, although he's barely in this movie. Another girl reads a letter from Frankie to another guy, talking about how many girls are on the island. Dee Dee blows a gut and heads to Ricky's house. However, Michelle Carey, is already there. Michelle leaves mad, and Dee Dee, who is also mad, says she will be back at 7. Von Zipper shows up at the club wearing a suit and a boiler hat. The gang goes into shock. Von Zipper sings a song for his gang. The entire gang changes into suits and boilers as he sings. Buana gets his torpedo juice and says the potion is all messed up. He goes to see the best witch daughter and says Dee Dee is very shaky. The native girl runs to tell Frankie. Frankie gets a song from the island girl, and Dee Dee gets the same from Ricky. Dirty Pete breaks in and attacks Ricky. Dee Dee accidentally knocks out Ricky. BD and Peachy discuss converting Von Zipper to a clean-cut, all-American male. Peachy says he has rigged the race. Pete has the rats and mice working on the race tricks with him. Von Zipper is kind of dumb and can't remember the traps.
When you get to the ditch, you understand me? The ditch that's covered with straw. Ditch covered with straw, what is it you do?
I cross that bridge when I come to it.
Oh, no, you don't. You go around it.
I go around it.
Right.
Otherwise, you're down in the pit without a pendulum.
It's Von Zipper and Cassandra versus Ricky and Dee Dee, plus some others. Von Zipper is foiled by his gang's tricks. Von Zipper ends up in a pit with a tiger. They go back in the race, and it's neck and neck with Ricky and Dee Dee. Von Zipper wins. What? Wait. Von Zipper and Cassandra get disqualified because she was driving. BD recognizes that Dee Dee is the real girl next door. Von Zipper goes back to his old image. That night on the beach, everyone is singing and happy. Dee Dee is with Ricky, and the Pelican is nearby. Dee Dee says she wants to get married, and Ricky freaks. Then she says it's a trick, and she is waiting for Frankie. Ricky goes off with Cassandra. Back on the island, Frankie brings a full torpedo to Buana. Frankie is done with the island girl. He wants to go home immediately.
Where's native girl? She prettier.
Native girl, come no more. My hitch is over and I'm going home. From now on, you can squeeze your own torpedo juice. Listen, Buana, I need a favor. It's an 8-day boat ride back home, and I can't wait. Can you fix me up so that I can get to the beach where Dee Dee is, like, right now?
Too late. Which's supermarket closed. Can't get ingredients for brew. I can't even get my decoy back.
Juana calls his best witch daughter, and she sends Frankie back to the beach. When she turns around, it's Elizabeth Montgomery of Bewitched fame. On the beach, the pelican turns into Frankie. They kiss. Ricky takes Cassandra back to his pad. Cassandra turns back into the invisible bikini and disappears. I'll be back in a minute with conclusions and the world-famous short summary following a message from our sponsors. Summary. In an article about beach party films, Wikipedia gives American International Pictures, AIP, credit for inventing this subgenre of films. The article gives acknowledgement to the earlier films of the genre, such as Gidget 1959, Where the Boys Are 1960, Love in a Goldfish Bowl 1961, and Gidget Goes to Hawaii 1961, but then says it was invented by API. The article continues saying that the first beach movie was Beach Party 1963. There are approximately 30 films that follow this general format. What API did was perfect the formula by removing parents, which were present in the Gidget films, having a soundtrack for the young by casting an up-and-coming band. The teens were free of all social problems and were sexually free, although shown only covertly, using young stars, Frankie and Annette, and using older actors that could be obtained cheaply. In a New York Times article, Terrence Rafferty said the golden vision of California surf life died by the time Big Wednesday 1978 was released, and that even the self-spoofing Back to the Beach 1987 could not revive the dream. Again, I liked the latter film and thought it was funny. In 1962, the Kingman noticed the heavily saxophone version of Louie Louie by Rockin' Robin Roberts was very popular as a dance song. In April 1963, they were given 90 minutes to record their now famous version of the song. The live performance recording gave the song a live effect and led to problems later. The band was not happy with the one completed take, but their manager wanted it released. In late 1963 and early 1964, the song was blocked from the #1 spot by a song sung by Bobby Vinton and the Singing Nun. Not Sally Fields, the Dominica Nika one. Their song peaked at #2 on the Billboard chart. The governor of Indiana banned the song for obscene lyrics. This eventually led to an FBI investigation. On Snopes.com, lyrics such as, "A fine little girl, she waits for me catch a ship across the sea, I sailed the ship all alone, I never think I'll make it home," were heard as, "A fine little bitch, she waits for me, she gets her kicks on top of me. Every night I take her out all alone, she ain't the kind I lay at home." My personal favorite is, "I smell a rose up in her hair," which was heard as, "I blow my load in her hair." These same people were convinced that the Peter, Paul, and Mary song, Puff the Magic Dragon, was about pot smoking because the little boy was named Jackie Paper, referencing rolling papers. World famous short summary, Surf's Up. Hope you enjoyed today's show. You can find connections to social media and email on the site at classicmovierev.com or in the podcast show notes. If you enjoyed the show, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, you can tell a friend, colleague, or family member about the show or leave a review at Apple Podcasts. It really helps the show get found. If you want to comment, suggest a movie, or help out, contact me by email at jec@classicmovierev.com. Beware the Moors.